America Radio. What's going on? Your host, Rasta B. It's Friday. And we will be talking about what today's title is Democrats hunting for the black vote with empty promises as bait. Guest calling number 516-531-9992. It's 909. Yeah, my co-host Smoke, he'll be in 5 more minutes. He's running a little late. But, yeah, we're basically going to talk about a lot of current events, a lot of random topics. Snoop Dogg getting punked. Had to apologize to Gail. That was pretty funny. Not his first time. I remember the last time he got punked was when he was talking about Iggy Azalea. And T.I. and him had a little chat, and then he came out and apologized to her. My solution for that is, what these celebrities should do is, if you know that your money tied up and you really can't talk like that because these institutions employ you, hire somebody or pay somebody to talk that shit for you. You see what I'm saying? You ain't got to say, these words are approved by Snoop. You know what I'm saying? Just hire somebody who they say how you feel, and that's that, But until Smoke gets back, let me bring up some current events. So one story I saw that was pretty interesting to me was I guess there's a push going on for Puerto Ricans to embrace their black identities. I have a YouTube video of that, so I don't have something that's written down per se, but I found that one interesting because they was talking about how basically black Puerto Ricans, or in this case black Latinos, darker skinned Latinos, I should say, get treated bad basically in Latin America compared to their whiter skinned counterparts. And the interesting thing about that is in America, black Americans have this weird alliance with Latinos and say that it's black and brown and always screaming black and brown. But then if the brown have an issue with the black within its own community and they're teaming up with black Americans, what is this alliance really even about? That doesn't even make sense. I will go deeper, but first, let's bring in my co-host, Smoke. Smoke, is that you? No. It's good.
Yo, what's going on with you?
Shit, man. Try some new sound effects.
Yeah, I hear them joints. I gotta try to turn my joint on so I can hear.
Yeah. So it's good, man.
Yeah, but shit, big Friday, you know what I'm saying? Back in the building. It's been outside. I was off today, so just been doing a little shit around the crib, shit like that. Fucking with the dog. Same old.
Shit, what's it's Black History Month. What information, news or things that surface in your timeline dealing with black people? I lightly brought up Snoop having to apologize.
Oh, Snoop. Yeah, Snoop was wilding on that. I mean, but it was good he apologized, you know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, you ain't got to go all crazy because you disagree with a point, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's still black people. But the major shit right now that everyone's talking about is you know what I'm saying, that Malcolm X documentary. on Netflix. That's like pretty much been absorbing that since I watched it. I think it was like Monday or Tuesday, whatever. One of them days. So I've just pretty much been absorbing that for like the last week.
Oh, okay.
Pretty good documentary, can't even lie. And well put together.
It is well put together. But before we expound on the brother El Haj Malik El Shabazz, let's get back to that Gail and Snoop thing real quick. So, see me, I don't think he should apologize. I don't see nothing that he said wrong. My thing when it comes to that Oprah clan, and you know, and Gail is part of that whole minion circle.
Right.
Yo, they've been attacking black people for decades. Without being, what's the word I'm looking for? Without being challenged. Remember, Jay-Z is the one that had Oprah on the stoop drinking a quart of waters and all kind of shit to be cool for black people. Now, we almost 20 years from that time. So what year was that? Do you remember?
For you said when she was with Jay-Z?
Yeah.
That shit had to be like 2010. I'm thinking that's what popped up in my head. 2010, 12, somewhere around there. That's what popped in my head.
I think it's been 2010.
Hold on, we can look it up right now, Jay-Z.
Okay. Yeah. Get a chance to look at it. I'm about to say 2010. Hell, I think that's a little too early. But
that's what that's what popped
whole
in my
thing
head.
With me, right. But the whole thing that gets me with that whole shit is it seemed like the way I look at it like this is like this. Just because you donate money to historically black colleges and all kind of shit like that, that can't be your only measuring tool for people to give you passes on just disrespecting your people. You know what I'm saying? That
right.
question and all kind of shit, like the issue when it comes to Gail and even bringing up that shit with the whole Kobe shit and during this time with this man, you know what I'm saying, helping this man to get buried and all kind of shit like that, is I watched numerous times TMZ, and I don't even watch TMZ. But when I'm watching TMZ during this time, this is the time when Charlie Sheen got caught with the whole, he had HIV and all that shit. Right? I ain't seen no white publications hunt that man down, talk shit about Charlie Sheen. None of that shit, yo. None of that shit. I watched TMZ reporters, like the camera people, see Charlie Sheen with chicks and never say, hey, Charlie, hey, what about your HIV, Charlie? Never seen that shit. And this dude got case after case of domestic violence and all kind of shit like that when it comes to women.
Right.
Kobe Bryant had one incident that got dismissed. And then you want to bring that up and ask the question, would that tarnish a man's legacy? Yeah, if you keep bringing that shit up. You know what I'm saying? If you keep bringing that shit up. So, to me, I look at it like this. Snoop disparaged Gail alive. He gave her dead roses alive, while Gail disparaged this man in death, where he couldn't even defend himself.
Yeah.
That's how I look at that. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at that.
No, I definitely, like, I like, I'm not necessarily even saying, I'm not even like disagreeing with that, with your points and shit, because that's 100% correct. You know what I'm saying? I just be feeling like, yo, that's an old lady. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, but see, like what we really need to do in the community is really stop fucking with people. So it's like you see, like, all right, Gail, she say something like that. A little time passed, niggas still fucking with Gail. Okay, you do some off base shit, then you're not accepted in the community. We don't gotta disrespect you,
right? But
you really shouldn't be accepted. When you having your little galas and shit, black people don't show up. We don't buy plates at that. Oh, Gail? Oh, we don't want nothing to do with that. Oprah, side effect, Oprah too. That's your homie. So that, like, we really got to do that.
No, Oprah is the goddamn grand wizard of the bullshit. Gail is a minion.
No doubt.
Yeah, Oprah is the fucking...
no doubt. No doubt. Like, you're right.
Remember,
you know
this broad opens up a store in Oprah opens up a fucking school for girls in South Africa, and all them chicks getting raped and molested. It's like, what the fuck is you doing, Oprah?
Yeah, that's crazy.
You see? Now, here's my question. So, when Oprah's dead, should we start digging all of the bullshit that she been doing?
Oh, it's a fair game.
Place that in front of her. You see what I'm saying?
It's fair
I'm
game.
like this.
That's how I look at it.
But just like they say, give them their roses alive so they can smell it, right? So give them that shit also. Give them that shit to smell too.
That's
you know
real.
Give them your ass to kiss before they die. Don't talk shit when they dead. Talk shit to their ass when they're alive. Then fuck out of here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I did find that link. It was XXL article. They got like a timeline of Oprah history with rap. And they got it 2009 Oprah visits Marcy Project.
No. Start. Oh, okay. Damn, you were close as fuck then. Still 10. Okay. I thought that shit was 2000.
But they go back to like, they like Oprah calls on Queen Latifah for relationship advice. That was 95. 99, Will Smith teaches Oprah how to do the Men in Black dance. 2005, Kanye came on the show. 2005, she beefing with Ludacris. That was in October. Oprah lists her favorite rap artists in 2006. That's later on the next year. And then Jay-Z was 2009. 2010, she was sharing his Wyclef's voyage to Haiti. 2012, she was with 50. 2013, so forth. Oprah makes peace with Snoop Dogg. Hold on. Okay, hold on. What'd you say?
I like to say, go back to the origin of the beef. What year did that start?
The origin with Ludacris. It is during an appearance on the Oprah Winfrey Show alongside cast members of the 2000 film Crash. Ludacris was criticized for using language derogatory to women in his music, resulting in the rapper feeling that he was being treated unfairly and his words were taken out of context.
So what year was that?
2005.
Oh, that's 2005.
Yeah.
I need to go 5 years ago from that. They started with 2005?
No, the first one was...
She made peace with Snoop.
That was 2014. I'm trying to go back to it.
When they made peace with Snoop?
Yeah, let's see. It says, in February 2008, Snoop voiced his displeasure with his music being referenced during an episode on misogyny and hip-hop without being invited on the show to defend himself. They quote, I really was offended because I kind of like her, the West Coast legend said. Liked her. I'm very articulate, very intellectual. She didn't even get a chance to even know me. While Oprah never reached out to Snoop to appear on the show, the two seemed to have squashed any ill feelings when they paired in a photo together alongside Oprah BFF Gayle King at an Oscars party in 2014.
Irony.
You know, dog.
But the whole point is, at the end of the day, it's like, if you remember the whole shit when it comes to damn Oprah and shit, especially when it comes to black men, it's like, she got a long history. Of that shit. That's
Yeah, we
just
from that
earlier
era.
than that, than them 2000s, though. She been doing that shit since Michael Jackson, Tony Braxton. Because remember, one of the controversies
they put hip hop.
Oprah.
So I guess they just
Right. So they're
limited
gonna
it to
start
the rap
exactly
shit.
with the hip hop.
Yeah, the rap with the rap shit. So.
I remember when they had an issue with the whole Oprah shit because they was like, "How you talking so much shit about?" Again, just to show you how that's your character. How you talking so much shit about black men and rap and what they rapping about and shit, but you got fucking child molesters and rapists on your show. You know what I'm saying? Like you interviewing them on your show and shit, but then you want to act all funny with this shit right here. But then my whole shit is this. At the end of the day, now we get into the 2020 part, right? Me, when they get into the rich world and that Hollywood star life, I don't get involved in that because they're all weirdos. So, because remember, Oprah and Gail, they team up now to get at Snoop. Bill Cosby ended up sending a tweet or some shit from jail supporting Snoop for getting at Gail and Oprah. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't get caught up into that rich people talk shit because they got their own agendas. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, when I'm looking at this shit, when I'm seeing this shit and you're seeing the powers and all that, basically in a nutshell, this whole white supremacy shit that everybody likes to pump, well, not everybody, but the black people in the black community like to pump, that shit ain't nothing but a fucking talking points, y'all, at this point. That's how I look at that.
Right.
This shit ain't nothing but talking points. It's like we're going to use fucking the historical oppression that white people have done to us and modernize it and say these are the same things happening when there's a lot of black people in power who is intentionally not doing what needs to be done, intentionally misguiding the masses, intentionally pocketing funds that's supposed to be used to develop and redevelop certain neighborhoods and communities. And then when you're asking the question, why, where is the money? Where is the opportunities? Why can't we have this, that, and the third? Then it becomes, well, you know how the white man is. You know how the system is. You know racism, white supremacy. We got to fight this system. And then we get content with that ideology. We get content with believing that because we're black, we're supposed to be on the bottom, we're supposed to be oppressed, and we're supposed to always be fighting the phantom white man while ignoring his condition, while ignoring their workforces on drugs at a high rate, while ignoring their with the opioid epidemic. Epidemic or whatever it's called. Yeah. It's a Friday.
Yeah. Just got paid Friday night.
Yeah. So with that, with the opioid epidemic, then you have the low birth rates. Then you have and you also have the lack of development and creation, even coming out of the white fucking race.
Yeah, that's real.
Think about it. There's no, you know what I'm saying? Like, literally, if the structure of segregation was still up, what new innovative thing is coming out? So
you see that down the pop culture.
Right.
All the way down to pop culture.
Even the commercials. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything that you see now is them emulating and taking from somebody else's culture because they're not creating their own shit. So everything becomes no, the white man gonna do this and the white man gonna do that, and he got the power and he gonna stop you, and he. So then you start to believe that shit. You don't fight hard. You don't try hard because you believe that you're automatically gonna fail and you're gonna doom. Like you're destined for failure. So then we make these weird decisions now, where we don't want to advance or look at advancing. We want to look at either helping other people not be treated bad, like how we were treated, or we want to we want to do what everybody else is doing. So in the sense of doing what everybody else is doing, we're caught up on the Democratic side. So then you start to hear shit like, oh, Donald Trump this racist, Donald Trump this racist, the Republicans are some racist. But it's Mike Bloomberg apologizing for his comments on Stop and Frisk and defending Stop and Frisk. He's spending paper to become president. Then you got Biden, who had apologized for writing the bill that locked up black young men.
I'm sorry, vote for me.
Vote for me. Oops, my bad. But we got to get Trump out.
Exactly.
You got Buttigieg, who, under his watch, fucking over black people in his community. But we got the Frederick Douglass plan to help black people. If you vote for me for president, oh, okay. Then you got Klobuchar. She never prosecuted no police or nothing that killed or abused black people. So at the end of the day, it's like, what the fuck are you voting? Because we don't got a black agenda. So what are we voting for? Covert racism or overt racism? That's it. So we're sitting over here saying we don't want overt racism. We don't want that. We want covert racism. So we want white people to smile in our face and lie to us. We want white people to take from us, but gently. Trick us out of shit gently. Put us in, set up programs for us to get homes that we can't afford. And then when it pops and the bubble box bust and we lose these homes and shit like that, then they can tell us, oh man, them banks. Those banks, I can't believe it. Yeah, but it was your program. It was your program. Yeah. It was your program, though, that allowed me to get this shit I can't even fucking afford. And people don't understand the psychological effects of that shit is, for the person that have the home, so I'm going to use you, folks, who have the home, lose your home, right? You have your home, you lose your home, now you got your seeds. Now your seeds sitting over there like, yo, I don't want to get no crib. You know why? Because that shit's scary. My pops had one, my moms had one, they lost their shit. I ain't going to be able to get that. The other side, the bankers, the lenders and shit like that, they looking at it like, damn, remember that year when all them black people had homes? Remember 4 years later, they lost them all? We ain't about to lend to them. So now you end up having this narrative coming up like black people can't ... All because of a program. So now the Democrats give you this program. Boom. You see what I'm saying? So now we get caught up in this program, we lose that. But guess what? Don't worry, black people, we gave you a chance. Thank you. We'll vote for you again, Democrats. Republican like, yo, get your shit right. You know what? We really don't even want to give you the shit. That makes you have to do what? Stand on your own. Figure out another way. Fish and get your own fish. Go out there and get your own fish. But nah, We don't want to do that no more. We want to sit out here and get fucking trying to plug up my shit. My battery died. Yeah, we want to keep getting the handout shit. Another one of my favorite topics, Smoke. The unemployment rate. Donald Trump keep on bragging about the unemployment rate, but he ain't doing that for the unemployment rate. Blah 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 unemployment rate. Blah 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 black unemployment rate. If white America controls the hiring and firing, the unemployment of black people, then they control the unemployment rate. We have no control over the unemployment rate. The only how that you have control over your racial unemployment rate is if you have control over your economy. When you have control over your economy, then you do the hiring. So you know the you know who's getting employed. You know what I'm saying, Smoke?
Yeah, you control that.
Like this is what we don't understand. We keep on asking people, Trump, what you gonna do, Trump, about what you gonna do? And these people doing what they want to do, and then we don't like the outcome because we keep asking them to solve our fucking problem. So now the Democrats come out there hunting for the black vote, and each and every one of them have a stain on their record when it comes to black people. So if each one of them have a stain on their record for how they treat black people, including Trump, why are you against Trump then? If I worded that properly, folks, if you understand what I'm trying to say.
No, I feel what you're saying.
Like, I don't like what is the gripe then? Because if you're telling me as a black person you have an issue with Trump, I need to know your reason why. And I want to know how many of these reasons that you have an issue with Trump applies to these same goddamn Democratic candidates that they're telling you to pick from. Just because they
yeah. So basically, like you saying, like if you scrape that away, you just take that part of it out of it, and you look at what niggas is trying to offer. Like these candidates is actually offering. They ain't really offering anything. You know what I'm saying? At all. They ain't offering shit. If you saying everybody out here doing the wicked shit against black people, it's like, well, shit, they ain't really offering anything else anyway. Why would you want?
Let me tell you.
Then like with when you mentioned like unemployment and shit like that, a lot of the reason we don't, we had unemployment and issues like that is because of Democratic shit. You know what I mean? The laws and shit that they pass with big corporations, allowing them to take their employees across seas and shit like that, giving them tax breaks and all type of shit like that. So the jobs that it's like when you call into your credit card company and there's somebody in like India, you know what I'm saying, or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Those jobs are supposed to be here. So it's like you got the company that's taken away from the people here, but the jobs that in turn should be working is they across seas because they getting benefits that a lot of the Democrats gave them. You know what I'm saying? Allowed them to do and shit.
Oh, yeah, we had a situation like that at my job. We had a lot of our products get sent to Milan. No, Manila. Manila, Philippines.
Oh,
yeah.
Philippines.
They end up sending all that shit back because I'm in charge of shipping out, divvying out the work and shit, putting this shit into the system. So when I put this shit into the system, that shit going over there, I put the bare minimum. I just put the first name and last name and send that shit out to them. So now that means they got to read that shit and put more work into that shit.
Yeah, go through and put the work, yeah.
Yeah, they ain't want to put that work in. They start sending that shit back, you know what I'm saying? So now we end up getting all that products and shit back. But, you know, that shit ain't going to work. That shit ain't going to work, you know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, as a black person in America, and again, this ain't a Democratic or Republican rant, because neither side is supposed to be your friend. Both sides is just tools in America that as a black person you're supposed to use in order to elevate yourself in the country and elevate your race in the country. Just like David Walker said, we must move as individuals for the upliftment of the race as a whole. So one black person isn't holding down another black person, holding down in a negative way. If this black person getting drunk on the corner, they have nothing to do with what I'm doing. You see what I'm saying? But all of us that's out here elevating and doing good, we're rising and pushing the race up. How? Because really and truly, the people that's supposed to come with the ideas and the solution and shit like that, I mean, ideas can come from anybody, right? But the ones that's supposed to be the movers and shakers, that's the business community.
Right.
Not the working class, not the people. So every time you hear these people say shit to you like, yo, if we all came together, see, the problem with black people is, like I was telling my girl, so she in college smoke, right? She in college, so she talking about the her math. So they teaching the XY axis shit with that, you know, negative and positive with the XY shit.
Sure.
So I told her, I said, see, the thing when it comes to black people is this: we're on -1 on the XY chart. I said that on the show before, but I ain't really know the name of the chart. It's the XY axis chart or whatever. So we're on -1. So what happened is when somebody elevates our mind, like a Malcolm X, right? That way we can segue back into the documentary. Like a Malcolm X. That's just elevating us to 0. The next step is action, which is +1, so forth and so on. But what happened with us, we go from -1, we go to 0. Then when we go to 0, we stay there, and then we go back down to -1. If that makes sense. Until somebody else come with this common sense information and elevate us to 0. But 0 is just the information. That's why it feels so powerful, because you was at -1. So here's damn, I can't talk today. Here's an analogy, Smoke. That's like if somebody, that's like me and you hanging out, we teenagers, right? And I don't brush my teeth, right? And I'm like, yo, man, every time I'm talking, yo, everybody be turning their heads. The girls don't want to holler at me, you know what I'm saying? Yo, I don't know what to do, Smoke. And you like, yo, man, yo, brother, in the morning, why don't you brush your teeth? You know what I'm saying? Gargle with some fucking Listerine and some fucking peroxide, and you're going to see a change in your life. You know what I'm saying?
With your mouth right.
Do that. You know what I'm saying? So now I do that, I brush my teeth and shit. Now I'm talking, I'm getting, you know, people is pleasant towards me. Nobody running. My mouth feels better and shit, you know. Now I'm like, yo, like you telling me to brush my teeth, that's 0. And I'm like, wow, maybe I should brush my teeth. But then I'll never act on it. Me brushing my teeth, that's +1. You know what I'm saying? Because now you did something. And then as you keeping up and bathing and your hygiene is better, now you're getting more into the positive lane of building yourself up. We're in the negative lane, and then we're always getting to the part of somebody telling us what we should be doing. And then it feels good because we never knew this information, but then we don't know how to take it to the positive one level of action where now things can happen. So because we don't get to that level, that's when we end up turning right back around. Now we want to, but white people, what y'all gonna do for us? Why we can't? And it's just like, nah, it ain't got nothing to do with them. It got everything to do with us. We have to work on us. But I always say, just to preface my point, it ain't the people. It's the business class. This is the class that have to come together. This is the class that have to work together. This is the class that have to unify. It's the business class, not the people. The people are just workers. The people are just consumers. The people is just the current that allows the economy to flow. You don't blame them for why your economy ain't working. You have to work. It's the business class that got to come together. Because what's the point of the workers coming together and they're unified and doing everything everybody's saying, but the business class is snaking each other?
Right.
We got to work for them to get paid. So if they snaking each other, guess what? That's going to keep us in a have and a have-not situation and scenario. Now, the good thing about the business class is the business class can always be created from the worker class. So if you don't like what you see on the top, you got to create that shit your own, but separate yourself from the I don't want to say separate yourself because then that's still causing that same problem of the business class not working together. So what I would say is infiltrate the black business class while working with all classes of business. We're just focusing strictly on the black business class. Infiltrate with the understanding of picking up connects, ideas, finding out who is who, so you can create that that inner type society, fraternity type shit. You know what I'm saying? Where only a certain group like the Illuminati, but you create your own type shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's going to take hundreds of years. It's going to take a long time. It's going to be no different than how these Greek fraternities and everything else is. That's fine. But it has to start and it has to be done, because at the end of the day, these other races in America is increasing in size and financial population, and financial power, I should say, economic power, through their economies, and now they're fighting for political power. The last power black people have in this country. The last power that black people have in this country is political power. And we're losing that power to the foreigners. Go ahead, Smoke.
Nah, man, shit, you're pretty much on point with that, man. Hit the nail in the head, man.
Well, shit, let's get to that Malcolm X. Malcolm X doc.
Shit, that's what's up. Like, shit. Where you want to start from?
Shit.
What was your thoughts on what you saw or whatever?
Well, I like it. I like the information. A lot of stuff I didn't know. You know, it's crazy that the two brothers that was wrongfully incarcerated for it. One brother died in jail. And to know that the actual participant in the assassination was honorable enough to, from day one, announce that those two brothers had nothing to do with it, and the system ain't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You know, I found that interesting, that you openly screaming they had nothing to do with this, continuously screaming for years they had nothing to do with this, but they still had to spend like. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, to me, that shit was just sad. Like, you know what I mean? Everyone, like, you know, this is a well-known assassination. You know what I'm saying? So it's been talked about every year. It gets talked about. You know what I'm saying? But like, it was just like for example, from the police side, how, you know, how they started pulling police officers from from the detail where they would normally have, you know, all these police, you know, around, because they was watching. They had the what was it, the task force, the Bossy or something like that task force, where they was like basically just going to all his events and, you know, recording and, you know, doing all type of shit or whatever. So like closer to his death or whatever, they started like pulling police from the detail. And then the actual day that he got killed, there wasn't a lot of police out there. So that's how they you know, most of the guys got away, because they, you know, if you go further along, it's like 5. They come to say that it's 5 people that was involved with it, that was there that night or that day to get rid of him. You know what I'm saying? And like, the part that I didn't know was that, you know, after the shooting happened at the Audubon Ballroom, they had they had scheduled events. So they had an event at like 7 o'clock that night, like some type of dance or some shit. They patched that shit up and had the dance that night. That very same night, shit. Like, yeah, like it was like a bunch of crazy shit in there, like police detailing. Then it was like, you know, they got the 3, they caught 3 guys. You know, just like the one you just spoke of. It was you know, the one that actually did it. His name was Thomas Heyer. His name was Thomas Heyer. He admitted to the other 2 guys not doing it, but they was pretty much saying that, you know, they had 3 people NYPD just wanted to get rid of. They just wanted to close the case out. They got 3 people, and what they did was when they went to court, in court, they put all their cases together because there was no evidence against the other 2 guys. They got the one guy, Thomas Heyer. He was admitting that he did it, that he had part of it, because he had got shot out there. Like one of Malcolm X homies or whatever, his security, they ended up shooting him, and that's how he got caught. But he admit to it or whatever. They end up putting all their cases together as one. You know what I'm saying? Like pretty much how they might do a drug case now. Put it all together. We got everybody. You know what I'm saying? When they didn't really have evidence against the other 2 cats. You know what I'm saying? They end up doing like 25, 30 years. Like you said, one of the dudes died. They got the living guy. He's talked. You know, they talked to him throughout the whole documentary, like his part in it. Well, you know, like why he was, you know, he didn't do it and shit like that. Like what, you know, because he was like him. The other 2 guys, they was known nemesis to Malcolm. Like they opposed him or whatever. So he was pretty much saying like they wasn't even in the Audubon Ballroom. He couldn't even get in that shit. He like, if I came up there, they gonna know me. He like I work with everybody over there. So, you know, it goes like, you say you only watch some of it. It's like, I don't really want to spoil it because there's other shit in there that you're gonna be like, oh damn. Like going towards episodes 3 and 4 and 5.
Yeah, I've been seeing too. Yeah, I've been seeing the second one I want to say. So I'm on the third one right now. So just keeping it light
to me is like, you know, that was the sad part, the police part. And then like a common theme that you see, like when you see like the devout Muslims, like the people that still in the Nation of Islam, you know, people that came up under Elijah Muhammad from those early days, like the older gentlemen and shit like that, like in some of the later episodes. But they, they were speaking more like on the side of, Malcolm, he spoke against the league, he spoke against the organization. It's like, this is what happens when they might not, some of them might have said it in those words, but it was more so that vibe. When you hear them talking, it's like, all right, Malcolm disobeyed. So what you think gonna happen? Pretty much, it's like that vibe.
Right.
It's like police had him, and it was just like the overall thing of him just being like, he was in a group. Okay, if you say he made a mistake when he spoke out about John F. Kennedy, then all right, cool. But he basically got put out by himself, and then he got sniped off. So he was with the crew. He made a mistake. The crew ostracized him, and then he got sniped off by the enemy. It's like mad sad. It's like when you really just see like, and that and I didn't write the brother's name down who actually did the documentary, but that shit is a great documentary for, what I'm saying, whoever they see it.
For amateur.
It's well put together.
But it's well put together from someone, because remember the brother wasn't a film guy. He never did none of that.
Right.
He just somebody who went out there to get the truth. You know what I'm saying? And he did his research and due diligence.
Episode 5, you're going to be like, get the fuck out of here. Episode 5, you're going to be like, get the fuck out of here. But it's a very good one. But that was the main thing for me. It was like, he was by himself, man, at the end. You know what I mean? They started taking all his property back. And, he was going in. You know what I mean? Malcolm X. He was, once it was like, that relationship was over with the NOI, it pretty much was war of words after that, you know what I'm saying? But he was pretty much by himself. So it's like, for him to be like, he, you know what I'm saying, he built the NOI, you know what I'm saying? He helped bring that shit to its prominence or whatever.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? Just for him to just, like, you know what I mean, lose out, or whether you look at it as him, being rightfully kicked out and having that, or however you look at it, it's just the outcome just itself is like, damn, he was a great man, and then all his support left for whatever reason, and then you lose out, you know what I mean? So it's just like that was the sad part, but it's a lot of information in there I definitely I never heard before, and it was like, oh, okay, it made a lot of other things make sense.
Okay. Yeah, 'cause I did notice all throughout it, not all throughout, but I know in the second episode, I was seeing Farrakhan in there, in the background and shit. Oh, fuck, yeah. Yeah. Oh, Farrakhan.
Yeah.
So
they have this captain on there in the beginning, he talking like, they asked him a question, and he like, it's two of the people that got arrested they didn't do anything. You know what I'm saying? He like, and he just got this old devil look on his, like, this eerie smile or whatever on his face, and he like, yeah, is it a possibility that they were convicted in court of law? It's just like, he knows more than that. Like they just open and closed on them cats. It's like, all right, let's get them out of the way.
Yeah.
Case closed. Wipe their hands off. It's like, all right, it's over.
See now, look, now I'm gonna tell you something. Me, I don't play into that whole them white people got power, this power, and they, I don't get caught up in that shit no more. I believe just like what you just said. They be looking at them shit, and they like, oh, word, bing, bang, bang, boom, case closed.
Right. When you watch the whole documentary, you're going to see it like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. See, but we be looking at this shit like, oh, like, this white man got this big conspiracy plan out. So watch out, black people. Now y'all come here and donate to my damn organization and join my organization and shit, so I can save you from this big bad white man who will come out and get you.
Right.
And I'm like, nah, I'm not for that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not for that because at the end of the day, it's like, well, Like, I don't see that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't even really explain this shit, but it's like if you really pay attention to white people and be around them and shit like that, as a black person with confidence, there's no way in hell you should feel inconfident or incapable or less than anybody of any race, let alone the white race.
Right.
As a black person. Even with the history of being enslaved in this country, with two folds. The first fold, your people elevated and stood up from being in a system that was enslaving you and degrading you. The second fold is the damn enslaved African life was of more value than the poor cracker. See, everybody forgets that part. Everybody forgets that part. So there's nothing for black people in America to sit around and be ashamed of, is the point that I'm getting at. So you're supposed to get past your shame, get past your fears, and start walking with the spirit to conquer and to dominate. But we don't move like that. We move too goddamn accepting. We listen to tricks. That's the whole democratic shit. You know what I'm saying? It's the whole trickery. So then they tell you stupid shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because remember. Well, let me say one more point. One more.
No, God.
Remember, Biden. If y'all don't vote for Barack and Romney win, the Republicans gonna put you back in chains. Everything is fear mongering. Go ahead, Smoke.
No, I was just gonna say like just going back to the Malcolm X thing, I don't want to say this shit, because you mentioned like how we tend to make like the the white man the big bad man, and what I'm saying, stuff like that. So it's like with the Malcolm X situation, a lot of times when you hear people speak on it, there's always the angle of like the fucking government did this. They basically did it. You know what I'm saying? They put the guys up to do this shit and whatever. There's a lot of angles in there when you look at it. Our hands be the hand that make it go, pretty much.
Exactly.
The white man can't do nothing without our hand making it go. For example, in there, and I can't remember what episode it was, but one of the cops was basically saying like, yeah, we watch this nigga all the time. But we didn't have no black field officers. So we could only go when they had this joints where where white people could come. So they showing Malcolm and shit. He like, I want to say, welcome to brothers, welcome to sisters, welcome to my enemies.
Yeah.
Because they in here. He just, he like talking shit. He like, because they in here doing some charming shit though. He smiling and shit like. And they playing it kind of like back and forth, and the cop is like, we didn't have nobody. So he was like, we literally had to go recruit informants. We had to go get niggas off the street or people that would like, all right, they opposite a little bit, or we catch them up here. Now they go down there. Now that's how we could get more information, because at the time they didn't even have officers to go watch this nigga. This was like in the 50s and shit, the late 50s. So it was like, you know what I'm saying? he's on stage pointing them niggas out in them situations. Like, okay, all right, I see y'all in here. Look, you got the reporter right here. They got this notebook. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They showing like other scenes where they is like they on the fucking buildings and people was pointing them out like, hey, you down with I forget what the name of the squad was. You down with Bossy? He like put his finger up. They like it's like these niggas is right there. Everybody know they know they there. So it was us that really got them in there. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I don't want to spoil it for you. So maybe like once you watch it all or whatever, the next time we could kind of go more into it. But basically, that's the thing. In order for the shit to go off, we had to leave the door open. You know what I'm saying? So when you go back to the point of like, oh, you know, white supremacy, the big bad white hand that's holding us down. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we give the opportunity for it to happen. And so it was like that. It just points out a lot of that in that documentary where it was like, he should have been, you know what I mean? Things like that shouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have happened if we didn't let that shit happen, basically. You'd have been walking around, he would have died of natural causes or some other cause if we didn't allow that to happen. And so, you know,
and that's the whole shit because, see, and the bad part about it, when you're not honest, right? And you keep on with these stupid stories and shit, and telling your kids about how bad and scary this fucking white man is, the youth end up growing up thinking this shit is real and this shit is true. And then they're going to formulate their movements based upon this. And it's not real and it's not true. When Malcolm X is talking, and I'm only basing this upon what you're seeing and then the information that I know about Malcolm X and the videos and documents and shit that I've seen already, it's not hate. It's not hatred. I'm laughing at you white people because I already know why y'all here. I'm not paying y'all no attention. I'm here to talk to my people. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no purpose for me to, like every time they try to be like, oh, he's spewing hate. And that's why he'll laugh and be like, what hate? How can you say I'm spewing hate when all I'm doing is talking love to my people and building and elevating them up?
Damn, who was the president during that time?
Eisenhower.
Niggas hate that nigga. Niggas hate that nigga. Not Eisenhower.
Truman.
I forget who it was. But
Nixon.
Whoever it was.
Nixon.
What's the nigga? Damn. I forget the nigga name. But they was like, you know, they showing like letters that these niggas is distributing amongst each other or whatever. And so he like talking about how Malcolm X is not intelligent. This nigga is outspoken. Like, they giving this nigga all good shit in there. They say like little hate spew shit, but it's all you know how it is when white people writing from their perspective. So it's like they gonna throw it in there and hate or whatever. But all of the shit that they pretty much like, yo, this nigga is too sharp of a leader. No, we gotta smile to this.
See, what it is this. You gotta remember, this is the part that the brother highlighted, right? So you gotta remember, Malcolm X wanted to be a lawyer. They told him he can't because he's black. Why don't he learn to do some shit with his hands? That discouraged him. Yeah, that discouraged him, and that's when he got into the street. So now he already naturally he know how to debate and flip words and use that analytical side of his brain, and he got the streets on his side, and that's how you got to see, and that's what we don't understand. When you come to white people and shit like that, you got to have confidence within yourself. That's what you got to have. When they're talking and saying shit, you gotta know how to be like, I'm not like, if I feel within my heart the black man is God and y'all came from us because all races come from the black race, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, I can't allow you to get under my skin. You can't get under my skin. You can say whatever you want to say, white man. That doesn't faze me, none of that shit, because I already know who I am as a black man. I already know that I'm God. You see what I'm saying? Right. So once you having that debate, it's like I always say, it's like you arguing with a fat girl, and she like, yo, I'm big and I'm beautiful. You like, no, you ain't, girl. You fat. Yeah, she be like, yo, I don't care what you say, I'm fine. You know what I'm saying? And she chilling and shit. Right. You like, oh, after a while, somebody else gonna be like, yo, shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Why you dissing her? Like, you look cool. Right. And after a while, you like, oh, let me not say nothing. That's not cool to say anymore. And now you looking like a lame. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, when you got that confidence within yourself, you already know how you're going to move and shit like that. A lot of black people in America don't have, not even America, globally, all black people who are conquered, they lack confidence. So that's why they still want to appease to white people and white standards of beauty. These white motherfuckers aren't enforcing these rules. They're not enforcing these rules. We the one that enforce these rules. We the one that prop them up and prop their status up and prop up their myths and narratives. We do that shit. They don't do that shit. So when you see a man standing and he's not kowtowing and, oh yes, a boss, oh, yo, that joke is funny, yeah. Then guess what? He's going to have to show respect to you. You know what I'm saying? Now, true indeed, the white man the devil, so guess what? He did some devilish shit in his observation, and he might have added a little gasoline to the fire, you know what I'm saying, and to stoke a lot of shit within the Nation of Islam. But guess what? This should have never been smoke at all. For the gasoline to catch on fire. You know what I'm saying?
The funny shit
we already
is like...
Go ahead.
No, just like in that documentary, one of those officers, you know what I mean, that they interviewed and that he pretty much was like, you know, like they was like, you know, they monitoring them niggas, they calls and all that shit. So he like, when Malcolm got kicked out of the Nation of Islam, the nigga was like, yo, he was ecstatic. He was like, that's the best fucking thing that can happen. He was like, this nigga kicked out his strongest guy. Like, oh, this shit gonna crumble. We about to do this shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like pretty much like that's what they was looking for. It was like, you know, this shit to just find that chink in the armor, and that's what happened. It was like the infighting created that chink that they needed. Yeah, they was monitoring him. They was monitoring him. They said since he came out of jail. They was monitoring him in jail in the 50s. So they got like years of fucking. They was like the most monitored person in FBI history is Elijah Muhammad at that time. Like, you know, like really up until modern times. I don't know if it's for up until this point, but they pretty much was like he's the most monitored person in FBI history. Niggas monitor everything that got to do with Elijah, including Malcolm X or whatever. So these cats was there. They probably was privy to what was going on.
Before you continue, you said monitor.
Yeah.
Surveillance. That's it. I'm looking, recording. And guess what they're saying? There's nothing, because guess what? What else they was doing was before that watching?
FIFA Tom.
You know, stalkers and shit. You know what I'm saying? Remember, they used to do the same shit to them damn Italians. Remember? Right. Now, this is just according to the movies and shit, right? This is according to the movies, but what the Italians will do, they'll come out with coffee and breakfast, walk to their table, to their cars and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because you're just monitoring. So guess what? You can monitor me all fucking day. And on top of that, I'm moving righteous, and I'm not doing nothing wrong. I ain't tripping off y'all monitoring me. But guess what? Them snakes, them demons within the ranks, all they got to do is bite them, the FBI, and they turn.
Right.
And now it's easy to let those different things play out the way they want it to play out, and they can have a clean hand. But guess what? We still got to move right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's white supremacy. That means you're telling me white supremacy don't work without the participation from the group that they're trying to oppress.
Yeah, pretty much.
And if you're telling me that, then guess what? You just told me how to solve white supremacy. Well, see, we're not going to accept that. We're not going to accept that answer because there's no bloodshed. We're not going to accept that answer because there's no bloodshed. We're not going to accept that answer because we can't pin that up to history. Like I read somewhere, somebody going to keep saying, because this is a common theme. We have to have legal protections in this country. We have to have legal protections in this country. And I'm like, what legal protections you don't got in this country? When it comes to business. That's why you got the courts. No, shit ain't going to be easy. Shit going to be hard. You know what I'm saying? Shit ain't going to be easy. The shit's going to be hard. But guess what? It got to be done, though. We can't sit there and keep on talking about why something won't work and why something can't work and who you're afraid of and things. Now, we got to move past that shit. And like I keep saying, if you can't do it in your time, then you have to pass that on to your seed and teach your child. This is why you're in school. This is why you have to learn this. This is why you have to learn that. Because these are the things that black people need in the community. We need this. We need that. This is how we have to teach our children. This is how we have to raise our children. That way we have another generation coming up that's like, yo, you know what? My mom's raised me where I have to help advance the race. You see what I'm saying? So when they're doing anything, Ivy League, school, building, whatever, they're there with a black consciousness. They're not one of these black kids with a white mind, or not even a white mind, American mind. And you can't even talk to them about black coming togetherness or some dominance, because then it's going to scare their brain and their soul, because it's going to feel like you're talking racist. We don't want that. Only blacks. And it's like, why are you scared? But you don't got a problem with all the gay people coming together, but you're scared of black people coming together? Come on. Yeah, we have that weird. We got to raise our children up like that so we get have them stronger generations. So what's the point of keep on raising the kids up just in how society want our kids to be raised, then complain about how they're raised, then they got to get older to figure out they was lied to for fucking 30 years and shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's like going to keep on in that weird circle over and over again. Like we're going to keep spinning in that -1-0 realm in the XY axis.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of shooting up, we got to shoot up. But in the spirit of Black History Month, I wanted to read an excerpt from Martin Luther King's "Where Do We Go From Here?" KSR Community. So it goes, the dilemma of Negro Americans. The dilemma of white America is the source and cause of the dilemma of Negro America. Just as the ambivalence of white Americans grow out of their oppressor status, the predicament of Negro Americans grow out of their oppressed status. It is impossible for white Americans to grasp the depth and dimensions of the Negro's dilemma without understanding what it means to be a Negro in America. Of course, it is not easy to perform this act of empathy. Putting oneself in another person's place is always fraught with difficulties. Over and over again, it is said in the black ghettos of America that no white person can ever understand what it means to be a Negro. There is good reason for this assumption, for there is very little in the life and experience of white America, and can compare to the curse this society has put on color. And yet, if the present and yet if the present Chaz, C-H-A-S-M, Chaz of hostility.
Chaz.
Yeah, see, Chaz of hostility. Fear and distrust is to be bridged. The white man must begin to walk to the pathway of his black brothers and feel some of the pain and hurt that throb without let up in their daily lives. The essential quality in the Negro's life is pain. Pain so old, so deep, that it shows in almost every movement of his existence. It emerges in the cheerlessness of his sorrow songs, in the melancholy of his blues, and in the pathos of his sermons. The Negro, while laughing, sheds invisible tears that no hand can wipe away. In a highly competitive world, the Negro knows that a cloud of persistent denial stands between him and the sun, between him and life and power, between him and whatever he needs. In the words of a noble black bard of yesteryears, poor Lawrence Dunbar, a crust of bread and a corner to sleep in, a minute to smile and an hour to weep in, a pint of joy to the peck of trouble, and never a laugh, but the moans come double, and that is life. Negro life. Being a Negro in America means being scarred by the history of slavery and familiar disorganization. Negroes have grown accustomed now to hearing unfeeling and insensitive whites say other immigrant groups such as the Irish, the Jews, and the Italians started out with similar handicaps, and yet they made it. Why hasn't the Negro done the same? These questioners refuse to see that the situation of other immigrant groups 100 years ago and the situation of the Negro today cannot be usefully compared. Negroes was brought here in chains long before the Irish decided voluntarily to leave Ireland or the Italians thought of leaving Italy. Some Jews may have left their homes in Europe involuntarily, but they were not in chains when they arrived on these shores. Other immigrant groups came to America with language and economic handicaps, but not with a stigma of color. Above all, no other ethnic group has been a slave on American soil, and no other group has had its family structures deliberately torn apart. This is the rub. Today, there is considerable discussion about the disintegration of the Negro family in the urban ghettos. We need only to learn something about the special origins of the Negro family to discover the root of the problem. The Negro family for 300 years has been on the tracks of the racing locomotive of American history, dragging along mangled and crippled. Pettigrew had pointed out that American slavery is distinguished from all other forms of slavery because it consciously dehumanized the Negro. In Greece and Rome, for example, slaves preserved dignity and a measure of family life. Our institution of slavery, on the other hand, began with the breakup of families on the coast of Africa. Because the Middle Passage was long and expensive, African families were torn apart in the interest of selectivity, as if the members were beasts. In the ship's hold, black captives were packed spoon fashioned to alive on a. Okay, this is about this slave ship. But the point I want to make on that was about what Martin Luther King was saying about the plight of the Negro and the immigrants, right? And it's funny that Martin Luther King said 100 years, right, Smoke? Because now I'm going to go 100 years back, and I'm going to bring up Booker T. Washington. Now, Booker T. Washington said this is before Martin Luther King. Yeah, this is before Martin Luther King. This is the Atlanta Exposition address, 105. 105. And I'm reading it from Up From Slavery. But I'm just going to read this one portion of it, which is right. So it says, cast down your bucket. So they're talking about the 1/3 of the population of the South is the Negro race. No enterprise seeking the material, civil, or moral welfare of the section can degrade this element of our population and reach the highest success. I but convey to you, Mr. President and Directors, the sentiment of the masses of my race when I say that in no way have the value and manhood of the American Negro be more fitting and generously recognized than by the managers of this magnificent exposition. At every stage of this progress, it is a recognition that will do more to cement the friendship of the two races than any occurrence since the dawn of our freedom. Now, this is 100 years, right? This is 18. I can't remember. 1890 something, right? Or 1880 something. Not only this, but the opportunity here afforded will awaken among us a new era of industrial progress. Ignorant and experienced, it is not strange that in the first years of our new life, we begin at the top instead of at the bottom. And that's when they get into the Congress. So then they get into the cast down. A ship lost at sea for many days suddenly sighted a friendly vessel. From the mast of the unfortunate vessel, and that's the saying from the guy. I'm trying to get to the point. Southern white guy. Okay. Cast down your buckets where you are. Cast it down and making friends in every mannerly way of the people of all races by whom we are surrounded. Cast it down in agriculture, mechanics. So this is the point I'm making. Now this is Booker T. Washington speaking to black people as he's doing his speech, the Atlanta Exposition address.
Wow.
So he's talking to black people. So he goes, cast down your buckets, so you could learn about the agriculture, mechanics, learning in commerce and domestic service, and in the professions. And in this connection, it is well to bear in mind that whatever other sins in the South may be called to bear, When it comes to business, pure and simple, it is the South that the Negro is given a man's chance in the commercial world. And in nothing is this exposition more eloquent than in the emphasizing that chance. Our greatest danger is that in the great leap from slavery to freedom, we may overlook the fact that the masters of us are to live by the production of our hands and fail to keep in mind that we shall prosper in portion as we learn to dignify and glorify common labor and put brains and skills into the common occupations of life. Right? They talk about that part, and then they talk about with the whites now. Occupation of life shall prosper. Okay. No race can prosper till it learns that there is as much dignity in tilling a field as it is to writing a poem. It is at the bottom of life we must begin, and not at the top. Nor should we permit our grievance to overshadow our opportunities. To those of the white race who look to the incoming of those of foreign birth and strange tongues and habits for the prosperity of the South, where I permit it, I would repeat what I say to my own race. Cast down your buckets where you are. Cast it down among the 8 million of Negroes whose habits you know, whose fidelity and love you have tested in days when to have proven treacherous means the ruins of your fireside, blah, 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 blah. Now, you remember that speech, right, Smoke? Because we spoke about that last show, right?
Yeah,
this is Booker T. Washington last week. Well, that's Booker T. Washington, 100 years prior to Martin Luther King, right? Telling black people, listen, start from the bottom, let's work our way back up to the top, let's get economic security, right? Put aside your issues with white people and things of this nature, because basically we gotta buckle down and get to work. White people, these new immigrants coming in, don't work with them. Don't give them the opportunities. Give those opportunities to us, the black people that been here next to you, watched you grew up, running game and all that shit like that, showing that bond between black and white, right? The person that fought against Booker T. Washington is W.E.B. Du Bois and the organizations that was created to counter what Booker T. Washington was saying was the Niagara Movement and the NAACP. The reason why I'm bringing that up is because with these other ideologies and narratives fighting against Booker T's narratives, that's how we get Martin Luther King talking about other immigrant groups being a Negro in America means being scarred by a history of slavery and family disorganization. Same shit that Booker T. Washington was saying in his damn book. Negroes have grown accustomed now to hearing unfeeling and insensitive whites say other immigrant groups such as Irish, Jews, blah, 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 made it. Why didn't the Negroes make it? They say the questionnaire refused to see that the situation of other immigrant groups 100 years ago, which would be during the time of Booker T. Washington, and the situation of the Negro today cannot be usefully compared. Negroes was brought here in chains. The other groups wasn't. The other groups came here with economic handicaps, but not the stigma of their color. Above all, none of them were slaves in this country. Their families wasn't deliberately destroyed, right?
Wow.
But what was Booker T. Washington saying? If we build our economic structure from the bottom, then slowly reached our way up to the top, we would have been in a position of power by the time Martin Luther King.
Yeah. I mean,
you understand that? Because they're saying the same shit. Booker T. Washington is saying his idea of how to get to that part. If we start from the bottom and work our way up. But no, niggas ain't want that. They wanted that cream automatically. I don't want to work up. I want to see it in my lifetime. And that's always been our mistake. We want to see it in our lifetime. Mao did not grow up in today's China. You see what I'm saying? Mao didn't get to see China in the second largest economy in the world. Mao didn't get to experience that. But he had to start so China can be where it's at now. Booker T was trying to start. But what happened? Outside other narratives and ideologies that countered Booker T got more attention. And they tried to fight against what the brother doing. All for 100 years, Martin Luther King to be complaining about this, what the situation at hand with black people in the 60s, 1960s, and then mention how 100 years prior the immigrants came over and how they came over. So Martin talking about how the immigrants came over 100 years prior and talking about the disenfranchisement of black people in the 1960s, and Booker T is talking about building an economic structure now in the late 1800s, a generation away from slavery, and saying, yo, let's try to keep these white people and black people relationship cool where we can still come up in this country slowly, but we cannot let them decide to use these immigrants as a work base and isolate us. They didn't understand what Booker T was doing. They fought against Booker T. And now Martin Luther King is complaining about the plan that Booker T. Washington couldn't execute. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's
like,
real talk.
Those are the mistakes, but the thing you really got to think about is the time frame, or like the time frame that passes by the time you come to that realization in like a decade, 50 years, 100, it's just like that time passes. But the thing is like you can't really cry over spoiled milk. What we're supposed to be doing right now is looking at those same ideals. Like, well, Booker T was talking about this, Malcolm X was talking about this, Marcus Garvey was talking about this. Where they fucked up at? All right, that's what we shouldn't do. What was they successful at? Okay, those are the things that you build on. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just saying, grasping the personality, like, oh, I like this guy, or I like this guy. No, you look at the ideas, what they worked, what didn't work. That's what we should be doing right now. But when you look at the political landscape, when you look at the economic landscape, it's like that's not even close to what's happening. So we have to be mindful of that, and even like on a personal level, as an individual or as your family, you could be looking at those and what mistakes they made and what you could do to improve your life. But overall, the leadership, the black leadership, they're not doing that. That's how you know all these politics is a game, and we just pawns in it.
Exactly. That's all we are, because they're trying to keep their individual wealth and their individual power. That's what they care about. I was looking at Roland Martin's show, and they had the topic was Sunny Holstein, right? That's the chick that's on The View. So Yeah, so she goes and she's like, I guess she's, telling Amy Klobuchar off, and she's like, oh, you didn't do this, when you were the prosecutor and you never put none of these cops to task for, killing or abusing black people. So they all clapping and they're like, yeah, she's telling her, oh, that's right, Sonny, and all kind of shit. And I'm like, Sonny Holstein? Sonny Holstein is the chick that was on CNN. She's a CNN analyst during the Trayvon Martin trial. And she was, every time she would come on the show, she would talk about how fine the prosecutor was. The prosecutor that dropped the fucking ball. I think the prosecutor name is John Guy. I'm about to Google right now, see. I think his name is John Guy or some shit. Let me go see. Yeah, when I tell you I did not, when I used to hear her, she used to call him McDreamy and all kind of shit. I was like,
get the fuck out of here.
You know what? Wait, let me make sure. I don't think it's John Guy no more. Let me find out. Hold on.
That guy.
Yeah, all right. Trayvon Martin, prosecutor. Let's see. But yeah.
John Guy.
Yeah, I don't know where I get John Guy from. But I thought Guy.
That could be it. That could be it.
But I'm telling you, man, I'm sitting over here and shit, and I'm like, hey, special prosecutor. Yeah, it's not the special prosecutor. It's not the Angela Corey chick. It's the man prosecutor. You know what I'm saying? It's the white dude. Let me see. Maybe it's in the. Yeah, it should be in the Wikipedia for the case. But yeah, so I'm looking at that, and she used to always be on here. Oh, McDreamy, and all kind of shit. And I was like, John Guy, yeah, the prosecutor name is John Guy. I knew I wasn't true. Yeah, it's such a bland ass name. Yeah.
I was about to say that's not the name. I was like, my name is John Guy. I'm that guy.
John Guy, yeah. I'm that guy. Yeah, but yeah, she used to always say that. She was over there, everything was just like, oh, he's dreamy, and I'm like, yo, this dude dropped the ball on the Trayvon Martin case, and she's on TV talking about how attracted she is to this fucking prosecutor. Yeah, I was talking about she was mad disgusting, you know what I'm saying? This before she was on The View and everything. I never even heard of her prior to the Trayvon shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? So it was like after that shit, that's when she started. Getting all popular, I guess, whatever like that. But yeah, I'm sitting over here and shit. I'm just like, now everybody forgets. So when you forget, then they come back a couple of years later. And all they got to do is talk some sass to some white person, and then we like, that's right. That's right. He clapped back at her. Then we be thinking that's
so much information. We don't even be thinking about that. That's cool.
Yeah, that's the situation that we're in because there's no focus. There's no focus because it's like we're trained not to think about economy. We're trained not to think about rebuilding our structure. Because even with these protesters and shit like that, protesting for what? Protesting for, like in Chicago, right? They got they was protesting at the Obama Library for lower basically for lower rent home type shit, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, protesting for what? Now I know you thinking protesting for what? So we can have, a place to, low rent, like I'm trying to think affordable living.
Affordable home.
Right. But again, that is our problem. That is something that we literally can fix ourselves. So protesting is to do what? Because you're going to try to convince your city councilman them to allocate funds to get low-income housing, right? Now, guess what? Tell me how many times you see Mexicans marching for low-income housing. And explain to me how illegal immigrants are able to get homes and black people with Social Security cards isn't. How many Jews is out here marching for affordable rent? I know the Jews run the world. Okay. How many, you understand what I'm saying? I could go down all the list. Chinese. You got to understand that when your economy isn't strong, then you have to go out and, you have to, because guess what? You can't pick up that phone and call that congressman who you pay to get into office. You can't pick up that phone and call them and be like, yo, this is what we want in our community. But we got a caller. I had issues with my laptop. I had to restart it 3 times. So I see we got a caller. 14 minutes left into the show. Caller 864-340. What's your name and where you calling from?
Hey, peace and power, family. My name is Equanese. I'm calling from South Carolina. How's everybody doing tonight?
Good. Hey, peace, brother. Peace.
That's what's up. That's what's up, G. Well, I kind of heard you guys speaking earlier. I know that from the topic I gathered, somewhat of a political discussion, and a lot of times people are somewhat diminished in their thinking that politics is basically an infrastructure created by the European. You understand? Therefore, a lot of people can't see politics without Democrats or Republicans. And the reality is that neither one of these parties have ever given a damn about us as black folk. Us as African people, when we look at this very country, it has been a one that protects, the domestic terrorists, right? This is why you find Charles Manson, Dylan Roof, or how many other crackers and white folks that done killed up, dozens of people. They get taken out in handcuffs. They get straight jackets and things of that nature. They get put in that. Even Dylan Roof, I think they stopped him by Burger King, right? But the reality is that we're still in a place 2020. No matter how much we voted, no matter how much we've gone to the poll, no matter how much we felt like voting was going to do it, even in the face of Barack Obama, I witnessed so many black boys and girls get killed in the face of, authorities, to put law enforcement in which they are paid by tax dollars. You understand? So if they're patrolling our neighborhood, guess what? Our neighborhood dollars are the ones that are going to pay them. But there's never been a thing where now America has been a one, or it has had any type of politics. It hasn't favored any type of policies. Therefore, that's why you will never see a politician that will stand for repairing the damaged African man and woman and family. Nobody's ever been in the business of that. You understand? Exactly. And knowing that the very infrastructure of this country was predicated and dependent upon the breakup. I heard you guys saying that earlier. It was different from other slaveries or forms of servitude, but this European, he would take a woman 22 years of age who was pregnant, hang her, shoot her, take the baby out, and stomp the baby. And you understand this trauma that's being played out inside our children, inside the people that had to witness that. And no policies, no politician, no force or power is talking about, hey, let's help out our brothers and sisters that have gone through a level of harm and damage like no other human being. No other human. Instead, this very country is still ran by those same similar practices and principles. That's why PBS has this documentary, Slavery by Another Name, right? That's showing you how brothers and sisters are going to jail. Now, if they're killing you for no damn reason and getting off for anything, they can throw our black behinds in jail for no reason, right? And you have no representation. You ain't got no money. You don't come from no. A lot of times our brothers and sisters are wind up becoming workers, getting paid a dime, getting paid a quarter. I heard a brother giving his. He had just come out of the pen serving 25, and he was talking about how they had to work out in the field. Whether it be picking cotton, whether it be they're doing the same thing. You understand? And it's a one where they're slapping white folk on the wrist for the dirt that they've been doing. Because like Dick Gregory say, our habits cannot compare to white folks because we don't have the money that white folks have to go out there and do drugs. You understand? We don't have that type of money. But they aren't chasing them. They're the fathers of crime. But I think, I hope our politics, if we had to stand behind a political party, or if there were something that stood for, I think that the Black Panther Party had it in mind as it relates to us getting together, forming, and knowing that a lot of the gangs that you have in the community were birthed out of that movement, out of the protection of us getting together and forming groups, forming alliances. You understand? That's what being a Pan-African is about. It's not only that we're working to preserve and protect our own household, we're working to protect all the interests in our community. You understand? These are the things that we need to be getting back to. So it's a wonderful discussion. I won't go on and talk you guys' heads off, but I know it's getting around voting time, and a lot of people going to be, who we going with, man? It don't make no difference who you go with, in my opinion. Because a lot of times these cats ain't gonna do nothing but take your money. They gonna take your money and they gonna jolly you. They gonna do you until they get to where they need to be, and then they gonna sit comfortably. Like a lot of these preachers. A lot of these preachers in the community, they aren't setting out any movements to help clean up the community and help make the community better, but they are the quote unquote God of the community. So this I think we kind of share the same interests when it comes down to that.
No, that's right.
And see, and that's why to me I feel like when I hear these guys always want to complain about the people and say, well, if the people do this and the people, I always found that weird because I'm like, the people is just the workforce. What happened to the business community who have the business? Why y'all not coming together? Why y'all not working with each other? Why y'all not trying to form an economy where the people can now work for you? So if a brother or sister come out of jail, they don't have to worry. They can get a job. If a black teen or youth, which they got the highest unemployment, is the black youth. If they're looking for work, they can get a job. They don't have to worry about, well, I got to go to the city, and I might not get hired because I'm too dark or my hair's a certain way. They may not hire me because I don't look apart. No, if the black business community come together, if the black business community come together, then guess what? They can do. Like it's hard for me to formulate that right now because it's getting late in the day. But
you pretty much said it correct.
Can I say something?
Yeah,
that's one thing I've been analyzing is in that business community is quote unquote 10%, and what I'm finding is that a lot of times those people are the ones that separate themselves from the lower class. You understand? They kind of wind up being like the quote-unquote house Negroes. You know what I'm saying? Now they're just worrying about their dollar rather than a collective interest. And when you look at the model of white supremacy, capitalism, imperialism, it's one that says that. It's about monopoly. It's about, hey, the rich get richer, and I got the money, and you come over here and holler at me. So I don't want to give you, any tips or any, know-how. I'm not trying to work with you, so I'm trying to keep you over there. So, that we're dealing with that. That we've been trained by the European on how to make money, rather than understanding that, hey, the money is the bond between us. The currency is the relationship between brothers in a family, that we can trust each other to put our money together. You understand?
Exactly.
I think that is where it's going to lie. Those of us that are sitting down at the Super Bowl, how many houses of brothers do you think were sitting down ordering chicken wings, ordering this? And the Wilder fight, the Wilder and the Fury fight is about to come up. It's going to be a whole bunch of brothers sitting down, paying for pay-per-view, getting the drink. Let's sit down and let's sit down and do this. And come together and put all our money together and say, hey, we're just going to put it over there and we can trust everybody, not saying that somebody going to go and try to take it or, I think when we get back to these simple tactics, the primary things, I'm pretty sure we'll get to where we need to be, family.
Yeah. But that's why I say for us to get there, we got to first teach that to our children. Because
right, that's
a lot of times I notice that we'll be like, as adults, we should come together and but then we teaching our kids, don't trust that nigga. Yo, fuck that nigga up. And it's like, nah, babies gotta love each other. That way that becomes their fad as they get older. That it's like, yo, we ain't like the older generation who ain't trust each other. We trust each other because we was raised this way. You know what I'm saying? So it's a process.
Right.
It's gonna take
Absolutely.
a while, but we gotta start. We damn sure gotta start.
Conversations like these are definitely conversations, and platforms like these are definitely the start. Letting our children hear this, going into your friends or your homeboy's house while you got this conversation on speakerphone or playing it on your loudspeaker, letting other people, get engaged in this type of conversation. And it's a lot of people that don't even know it even exists. So, you guys are doing a good job by having the strength and courage to carry it out.
Thanks, man. We're trying to. Because if we keep that energy out there and try to destroy a lot of narratives, especially the narratives of black people don't support black people don't do this, black people, we have to destroy that narrative and keep reminding black people that, no, we do that. We do want certain things in society. We're not all backstabbers. We're all not. No, we have to highlight the good to refresh and to remind black people that, no, we're all not fuck up and screw up. That's the narrative. But we got to go on this level here. No, it's not about being scared of this white man's mythological powers and stuff like that. We have to fight past that, because guess what? If the white power structure decides, oh, black people trying to build something, let's destroy it. Guess what? You still got to rebuild. So it doesn't make sense to say, to even use that as the force of saying this is why I won't do something, because we don't do that to each other. If I'm walking down the street and somebody punched me, I'm not going to say I'm not walking on that street no more. No, I'm going to go back down there. We're going to have to fight. I'm going to pick up a brick or something, but I'm not going to keep letting you oppress me. But then when it comes to white people, we just like, well, I give up because white people just going to destroy it. Nah, you got to keep fighting. That's the power of being black, is the fight. That's the thing that everybody admires about the black American in particular, is how we fought against the white man. We literally fought the white man, where everybody else, they was being oppressed by Britain and stuff like that from afar in a lot of cases. That's why a lot of people looked up to the Haitians, because they literally fought the white man. So we're all studying. How did you beat the white man? How did you beat the white man? Well, we beat him this way. We beat him that way. Let's fight. Once we start getting to the point of equality and wanting to work with the white man, that's when you start to see us lose a lot. Because now we lost ourselves to be equal to somebody that wants to destroy us. So if you want to be equal to the person that want to destroy you, then you're going to become the person that's going to destroy you also, if that makes sense. So for us to elevate, we have to no longer be scared of this white man. Stop thinking that we have all these ailments and these things that's bagging us down. These are lightweight issues that we have, and we have to fight against this shit. And if you can't do it as an adult, teach your child that they could do it, even if you don't believe it. Make your child believe that they could fight and give them a chance, but don't give up. You know what I'm saying? That's all I be trying to tell people. Like, don't forget that part. Their birth rate is dropping. A lot of their population is on drugs. You know what I'm saying? It's like, these are not powerful people. The only reason why white people is powerful in America is because black people keep telling them that they're powerful in America. That's it. But we come to the end of the show. It was a good build, brother. Call in again and you know, let everybody know, you know what I'm saying, that we out here on these Fridays spitting that truth, you know. So, you want to close it out, Smoke?
Shit, that was a good one, man. You know what I'm saying? Got the call at the end.